But with that, we move on to the main event in a super exciting fight.
Another one fight of the night award potential.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they put it as main event, right?
Yeah, man.
So you got 21-4 Clavin Katter versus 14-2 Dan Ige. This is going to be super exciting. Clavin Katter, he's 32 years old. He's 5 feet 11 inches tall, and he's currently ranked 6th in the UFC. He has a record of 5-2 in the UFC. He's pretty awesome. I'm super excited about him. But then he goes on to fight Dan Ige, who's 10-4. But 7-1 in the UFC on a 6-fight win streak, and that's including his win on the Ultimate Fighter or on the Contender Series.
Yeah.
That's the reason he's 7-1, not just 6-1. His last 3 wins have come by decision, with 2 of them being split decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I still think personally, even with those split decisions, he had the edge. What do you think about these fights? Fight?
This fight is going to be another crazy fight. It's going to be a wild one. It's going to be another fight of the night contender, like we already said. One thing to note is Ige's coming off back-to-back split decision wins, which could have very well been split decision losses.
Although I gave him the wins.
Yeah, he had Edson Barboza and Mirsad Bektic. I think Bektic won that fight.
That's close.
Bektic got the takedowns, controlled the majority of the first 2 rounds there. But, Ige is a strong man. He's a good puncher and comes in there. But, he's been stepping up in competition with each fight. So, with that, he fought Mirsad Bektic first, and then he got that split decision win. Then he goes on and faces Edson Barboza, who probably one of the best strikers in the UFC.
One of the best strikers. He's inconsistent as far as his wins go, but
he fights tough.
He's always going against top guys, no matter what.
So that's still a good, and so that's a good win.
Very good win. Very good win. You can beat Edson Barboza. It's a good win.
Yeah. So I like it. I mean, the step up in competition is something that should be noted with Ige. I think Ige is also a BJJ black belt, judo brown belt, and an NCAA D3 wrestler.
Oh, yeah, you got all my notes. Did you just copy my shit and throw it on yours?
Yeah. So, I mean, Ige's obviously going to be really well-versed everywhere this fight goes.
Yep.
I mean, if we're looking at what he has, he's going to be really
well-versed. Well, he also got
well-versed.
that performance of the night bonus against Danny Henry the other night, or a couple fights ago.
Yeah.
Danny Henry fought the other night. And,
he got choked out by Amir Khan.
I had picked him to win, but he got choked out.
Yep.
But, that's still a good win because Danny Henry's a black belt himself in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting fight here because with Katter, Katter actually throws with more volume than Ige.
Yep.
When I was looking at the stats on UFC, I think Katter throws like almost 5-something significant strikes. What is it, per minute or something like that? And then Ige only throws 3.
Well, and Katter also has super good wins too.
Also takes 6 significant strikes per minute. He eats a lot of strikes. So, but that shows me he's got a chin.
He was able to survive Jeremy Stephens.
Yeah. Jeremy Stephens came on strong in that first round.
If you're the type of guy that's going to take 6 punches, would you say 6 per minute? Or
it was like 6 significant strikes per minute. So, I mean, that could be a good leg kick. It could be...
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately, if you're going to take 6 significant strikes from a guy like Jeremy Stephens...
he took a lot more than that.
I mean, Jeremy Stephens is a knockout monster.
Yeah.
Jeremy Stephens is another one of those guys who has all the technique and the talent to be a champion. He just hasn't been able to put it together in the right ways. But, that's not even his only impressive win.
No,
he has a
got
win
some good
over
wins.
Chris Fishgold, who's fighting on the prelims earlier. He also has a win over Ricardo Lamas. And he has a decision win over Andre Fili. And he beat Shane Burgos.
Yeah, he did. Didn't he knock out Burgos?
I believe that was a finish. His last 4 wins in the UFC have all came by KO or TKO. The one thing I have realized, though, is he does struggle against leg kicks. Mm-hmm. He doesn't make adjustments when people are kicking him in the leg, and he needs to figure that part out.
Yeah. So that one of his losses in the UFC there to Zabit.
Yeah.
That's a tough loss.
Magomed Shapirov, or how you say it?
I'm not sure. I don't want to go through all that, but
it's Magomed Shapirov. That's exactly what it is.
Sharipov.
Sharipov.
But
Magomed
Zabit. You should know who Zabit is by now.
He's a monster.
The dude's a beast.
He's a monster. He's really fun.
He went to a decision with Zabit.
Yeah, and that's like a fight.
It shows how tough you are because Zabit is another one of those guys who I'd put in the relentless category.
Yes.
He just keeps coming.
Yes.
So that's a good and the Shane Burgos, that's a good win there. And the Shane Burgos was a knockout. TKO round 3.
Yeah.
So I mean, He's got some good wins, good experience there for both guys. He's also a BJJ blue belt, I think it was, that I saw there. And one of the stats that I liked when I looked on UFC.com, he has a 77% takedown defense.
Yeah.
So
He's
I think
not
it's going to
easy to
be
take down.
hard to get him down.
He's not easy to take down. I do think, though, that if Ige can mix it in well, he'll be able to get it.
He
Because
should
you
be able to
also
get
have to
some-
remember, even though Ige is known as a submission guy, he also has 6 decision wins.
Yeah.
And that decision wins is actually one more than he has submission wins. So he's not a guy that's going to tire out. He's going to keep pressure on you. Being a D3 wrestler, he's going to be looking to take it down himself.
Yeah.
And oftentimes when you get those elite wrestlers, you start to see a stand-up battle if it gets negated there.
Yeah. That's kind of
we'll
where
see.
I came in with my pick, is I think that Ige's key to victory in this one is going to be to try to get this to the ground, where I think he has the clear advantage.
Yep.
It's just going to be really, really hard to do so. And I think that Kattar's going to be able to defend enough takedowns to the point where we're going to get to the third round. And in that third round, I think you're going to see Kattar starting to land a lot more. And I think Kattar's going to win a knockout
So
in round 3.
you're thinking it's going to be close in the first 2, and he's going to turn it up in round 3 and finish him?
Absolutely.
Well, I think that Kattar has the advantage as far as experience goes and as far as the tough fights go. But I had a hard time picking against Dan Ige.
Dude, it is hard. It was a hard pick.
I mean, when you're coming out here and you're just submitting people left and right, and you're on a 6-fight win streak, it's hard for me to say, 5 submission wins. It's hard for me to pick against that because I have a feeling it's going to the ground. And when it goes to the ground, I have a feeling he's going to be able to control that situation. He might not submit him.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling he's going to be able to control it, and he's going to add another decision win. Because if I remember right, in his UFC debut, or not in his UFC debut, but in his UFC run, most of his fights are by decision. Most of his submission wins came prior.
4 decisions, 1 submission, 1 TKO.
Oh yeah, you got it up right there. So.
But
Yeah, so I have a feeling my pick is Dan Ige by decision. I just think it's going to go to the ground, and I think he's going to control the ground game.
Yeah, man, it's very possible. I mean, he beat one of the better stand-up guys in Edson Barboza in a fight like that. Yeah. And Mirsad Bektic was actually out-wrestled him in that fight, and he still beat Mirsad in that fight. So, I mean, it's highly possible. I think and both those fights were only 3-round fights. Mm-hmm. So this one, it might even go.
Well,
into
it's
the
a
4th.
5-round fight. So
this is going to be a 5-round. That's what I'm saying.
True. You got to take
so
that.
it could go into the 4th, but
I'm still going with my decision.
Oh yeah, I've got the knockout round 3. Clavin Katter, baby, let's go.
Hey, this is going to be good because this is going to separate us some.